All right, this is 8th grade, chapter 6, page 293 in your book. So once again, I'll say it. You need to have your book open right now, page 293. Go along with me. We have some key vocabulary. Solving multi-step equations is the name of this lesson. The first one is the distributive property. And the distributive property is a property that distributes a number into parentheses. I'm going to show it with an example. If we have 3 times the quantity 2 plus 5, we could do this by the distributive property, which means we multiply 3 times 2, then 3 times 5. So that would be the same as 6 plus 15, which would be 21. And the reason why we learn the distributive property is now we're in algebra, and it might look something like this. So you could simplify using the distributive property again. This would be 3 times x, which is 3x, plus 3 times 2, which is 6. So we are distributing in the number on the outside of the parentheses. And we'll be seeing some of those throughout our assignments as we go through. Like terms is another one that we know. Remember, when you're adding, like terms are terms that have the same things on them. For example, whole numbers, and let me just write out a problem here. 3x plus 2y minus 10 plus 6x minus 2x plus 2y plus 1. If I say simplify this long expression right here, we can add the like terms together. So let's look for like terms. 3x and 6x and minus 2x are all like terms because they all have x's on them. So we add the positive ones. 3x and 6x make 9x. Minus 2x would be 7x. And then let's add the y's together. 2y and a 2y make 4y's. And then we can add our whole numbers. Negative 10 minus 10 right here, plus 1 is minus 9. So that would simplify all down to that. We couldn't go any farther because there aren't any more like terms, so we have our x's and our y's right there. They doesn't work out. So that's as far as you could go as with the example that I just gave you. So let's see what we're doing as far as example wise. So here's a science example. It's a multi-step equation. It says, for a science fair, you're performing an experiment to see how the number of Venus flytrap seeds planted in a cup affects plant growth. In each cup you plant either 5 seeds or 10 seeds. You want to use an equal number of cups for each seed amount. You have 75 seeds. How many cups do you need? And you can use an equation to solve this problem. So you have, if you want 5 seeds per cup, we don't know how many cups, so we would take 5 times C. Right here, 5 seeds per cup, number of cups. This one would be 10 seeds for number of cups. And then we would make that equal to the total number of seeds we have. So that would write out to be 5C plus 10C equals 75. So 5 seeds in some number of cups plus 10 seeds in other number of cups. So how many cups would we need? We can add the 5C and the 10C because they are common, or excuse me, like terms. That equals 75, and then we go back to our solving equations. We say we're trying to get C by itself, so we say that out loud. That's 15 times C. The opposite of timesing by 15 would be to divide by 15. So C in this problem then would be 5. So let's see if they agree with us. They're solving it, and as you can see, it's right underneath my writing, so it's a little tough to see. So you can plant 5 cups with 5 seeds and 5 cups with 10 seeds. So for the guided practice, a pack of petunia seeds costs $3 and a pack of balloon flower seeds costs $4. You buy the same number packs of each type and pay $42. So how many packs do you buy? So let's use P. So you buy 3 packs plus $4 packs equals 42. So 3P plus 4P is 7P. Divide both sides by 7. This is algebra. I want to see all of that work. So you're buying 6 of each type, 6 packs of each of those. And they agree with us. Okay, so example number 2 says combining like terms. before we can solve for x, we need to do some cleaning up. We need to do some simplifying. So if you look on the left side of the equation here, you have the terms that are in red here, 3x minus 4x. Those are like terms because they both have x's on them. And this is where you have to be important, is keep this minus with this. You could even boom it if you'd like. So really it's 3x plus negative 4x, which is negative x plus 12 equals 20. So we're trying to get that x by itself, so we're working along good. We have to get rid of what's added or subtracted. So we minus 12 from this side, minus 12 from this side, because whatever you do to one side, you have to do the same to the other. We get negative x equals 8. And we don't want negative x, we want positive. So if we make this positive, we would make this one negative. You just kind of flop them, make them opposites. So our answer here is negative 8. So they're combining the like terms. They subtract 12 from each side just like we did. They got the negative x equals 8, and then they flop them. And you can divide by negative 1, but I just remember you can just switch the signs. And then you're done. Okay, so this one, notice from the distributive property that I was talking about, this has the parentheses in it to simplify out. In order to simplify this part, we have to do the distributive property. So we leave the 6n alone, and we multiply in. Now this is where it's important. That's not just a 2, that's a negative 2. So you have to take negative 2 times n, negative 2 times 1. So it's negative 2n minus 2 equals 26. So all I did was multiply the distributive property, which then gets rid of those parentheses. Now I look to combine like terms. I have a 6n minus 2n. I can do that because they're like terms. Minus 2 equals 26. Now we're back to multi-step equations that you guys did back, I think it was like chapter 3. You would get rid of what's added or subtracted, so we add the 2. Those cancel out. 4n equals 28. Divide by 4, n equals 7. And you can always put the 7 back into the original equation and see if it works. So then there's doing the distributive property. Then they combined the like terms. Then they added 2 to each side. Divided both sides by 4. And ended up with 7. And then here's what I was saying about substituting. If you put 7 in, you see if it works. And you do all that multiplying out, and it worked. All right, example number 3. Or no, I'm sorry, we got some guided practice. It says for examples 2 and 3. Let's see. We need to get, sorry, that's kind of bad. Let me get over here to example 3. Well, it looks like we left out example 3. Wait, that was example 3. Sorry, guys. So let's do the guided practice now. All right, so this one, the first thing you do is you look at both sides of the equation and you see if you can simplify anything. So there's nothing we can do over here, but we can do 11w minus 5w, which would be 6w equals negative 6. Even though the w is on the right side, we're still trying to get it by itself, so we divide both sides by 6, and I get w equals negative 1. And that's what they got. Okay, this one I see on the right side, I can combine some like terms. 4p and this p make 5p plus 10 equals 25. Then you just solve it. Minus 10 from both sides. Bring down the 5p because the 10's cancel out. Divide by 5. P equals 3. And I'm writing all over my stuff, aren't I? Here, let me get that off of there. Okay, so this one you have to be really careful of the signs. We have a negative 8r and a plus 7r. That leaves me negative 1r, which is just negative r minus 2 equals negative 9. So equals. I add 2, add 2. Negative r equals negative 7. Positive r is going to equal positive 7. And it works. Okay, now 5, notice on number 5 here, We have the distributive property, 3 times x, 3 times 9, so it's going to be 3x minus 27 equals negative 39. Add 27, add 27, and here's where those negatives come back in. 3x equals, or it's opposite signs, so you subtract, and it's going to be negative. Divide both sides by 3, x equals negative 4. There it is. So this one again, distributive property, 4 times 6, 4 times z. Z plus 24 minus 4z equals 21. Sorry, my pen's making, this is a plus right here. That's really bad. A z and a minus 4z make negative 3z plus 24 equals 21 minus 24. Negative 3z. 21 minus 24 is negative 3. Divide by negative 3, z equals positive 1. And you should, once you get to where it's just once you've simplified everything, you should almost just be kind of cruising through those. Okay? Let me erase here. I can find my pen. So on this side, distributive property again, wherever you see parentheses, so it's going to be negative 7y minus 7 plus 2y equals 8. So negative 7 and a plus 2 is a negative 5y minus 7 equals 8. Add 7. 15 equals negative 5y. Divide by negative 5. Y equals negative 3. Notice it takes a lot of work. That's a lot of steps that I need to see. I need to see everything that you guys are doing. And on your guided practice with me, don't just write the answers. I want you to practice these so you can get what it feels like to do all of that work with me. Okay? All right, example number 4. Volunteering. Soup kitchen volunteers form 3 groups containing X volunteers each. Then 10 more volunteers arrive. The volunteers regroup into 4 groups containing 7 members each. The equation 3x plus 10 divided by 4 equals 7 models this situation, where x represents the original group size. What would you do first to produce a simpler equivalent equation? Well, the first thing I would do is I would get rid of this divided by 4. So what's the opposite of dividing by 4? Multiplying by 4. So that's what I would do. And they're going to show it to us here. See right there, by multiplying by 4, you get rid of that fraction. And anytime you can get rid of a fraction, that makes it a lot simpler to do. Okay? So on this one, so we're going to follow that same pattern. What would make this easier? Well, to get rid of that divided by 5. So we'll multiply this side by 5, and we'll multiply this side by 5, which will cancel out those 5s and leave 2y plus 4 equals 30. Now you're to the problems that you should be really good at solving. Equals 2y, divide by 2, y equals 13. So let's see if we agree. Yep. Let me erase here. So again, times by 8, get rid of that fraction. So I get 3x minus 1 equals 32. Add 1 to this side, add 1 to this side. 3x equals 33. Divide by 3. X equals 11. And it does. Okay? So they got one more here. Let me erase again. So again, I'll get rid of that divided by 8. So times 8 on both sides. Those cancel out. And I get 9 minus z equals 24. Now here's where I have to be careful. I got to get rid of that 9. I have to minus 9 because it's a plus 9. The negative goes with the z equals minus 9 is 13, 15. I'm really bad, aren't I? 15. And z equals negative 15 because we want positive z, not negative z. All right, so it's so very important that you show your work on these, so that way you know exactly. I know step by step what you're doing and how you're getting there. So give them a shot. Ask if you have questions. Have fun solving, and they do take some room, so plan for that. See you next time.